Hey guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stocks Network Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.
Everyone, welcome. Good morning. Thanks everyone for joining. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes here. I hope everyone had a great weekend and ready for another week here. We'll go through all the news this week. Today is MLK US banks are closed, so we'll be focusing on gold, and we'll go over all of the news and we'll get ourselves ready for this week.
Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to the live session of Stocks Never Trading. My name is Dave, guys. My partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell. Okay, I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please secure.
Recording in progress.
Hey everyone, welcome to Stocks Never Trading. Good morning. Thank you everyone. My name is Ron, my partner is Dave, and it is 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Monday, January 19, and it's a fresh week in the markets, and we're going to be doing some New York and post-New York sessions this week. We're moving away from Tokyo for a couple weeks, and I hope you guys enjoyed our Tokyo sessions that we did to start the new year off. We did some education. So there is 3 full days on YouTube of our education classes. I hope you guys can go over those and maybe help you guys out. And now we're going to apply everything we've learned in those sessions into the New York sessions, okay? And I hope everyone had a great weekend. There was lots going on this weekend. News-wise, that will affect the markets this week. So I hope you guys are paying attention to all of the global news. There's a lot going on every single day. There's something new in the markets which can affect pretty much all the securities that you're trading. Today we're going to focus on gold. And I know most of you guys already did your analysis over the weekend. And today is a U.S. bank holiday. Stock markets, Wall Street will be closed. So that's why we're gonna pay attention more to gold on today's session, and markets will be trading normal tomorrow. Okay, so let's get into this. The first thing is what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with Forex Factory, going over our news this week. This is today, Monday, January 19. Donald Trump is in the news. Okay, so you guys probably are aware of what's going on with Greenland, Denmark, the NATO nations. So Denmark has been unable to do anything about Greenland. Now it's time. This is Donald Trump talking, but what he's basically done in a nutshell is he wants to either purchase Greenland or who knows, maybe a hostile takeover. I have no idea what goes through this gentleman's head right now, but he's applied 10% tariffs on the NATO nations, Norway, Finland, Sweden, all of those nations in Europe, and if he cannot buy them, then those tariffs are going to increase to 25%. So we will see how everything shapes up over here. This is ongoing news and it's developing. So this will affect everything that we're trading. So please, guys, it is a lot going on, and just please trade with proper risk management when you are trading for this entire year. It's going to be pretty busy this year, okay? Lots going on. This is day 1 of the World Economic Forum annual meetings. So it's day 1 starting today. That is going on, and Donald Trump will be visiting the World Economic Forum later this week. The Prime Minister here of Canada is there. And everything going on. We also have the Eurogroup meetings. This is also U.S. bank holiday. So for you guys that are unaware of what the bank holiday is, you can simply click on the folder and it will explain to you in detail. U.S. banks will be closed in observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Usual effect of this is low liquidity and irregular volatility. So it's going to be maybe choppy if you are trading any stock securities in New York. The Wall Street is closed. So just, proper risk management. There might be higher spreads than normal. There might not be the best fills that you get. So if you can avoid this altogether, try and avoid it. Markets will, after this holiday, will pick up like normal. And that's why we'll focus on gold this morning. Gold will not be affected by this. Gold will still be trading and COMEX is open, okay? So most Forex brokers remain open for every holiday except Christmas and New Year's Day. Stock markets and banks have slightly different holiday schedules, okay? So that's today in New York. We do have some Canadian news coming out at 8:30. We have our CPI news coming out this morning. And that's basically it for the news today, okay? So just markets are closed. trade with proper risk management. Maybe lower your risk today and then pick it up tomorrow when things get back to normal and U.S. banks open up. Tuesday, news for Tuesday. There is some European news, and then we move into World Economic Forum day 2. Bank of England Governor Bailey speaks tomorrow morning. Then we move into the North American sessions over here. And again, not much going on. There's no North American news around 8:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. So let's just expect tomorrow as a normal trading day without high impact news. However, it is the first day the U.S. banks are opening up from the holiday, okay? Then we go into midweek Wednesday this week. There is some British news coming out pre-London at 2 a.m. Eastern. Their CPI news will be coming out. You have the ECB, President Lagarde speaking. Day 3 of the World Economic Forums. So you can see day 1 was a low impact folder on the WEF meetings. Day 2 was an orange folder, medium impact, and then you can see day 3 is a high impact news if you're following the World Economic Forum in Europe over here. We have the German 30-year bond auction. President Trump speaking over here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so this will affect us because we do trade New York and post New York sessions. So this week, guys, highlight this. Wednesday at 8:30, we have President Trump speaking. You can click on the folder. We'll give you a little bit of detail. He's due to speak at the World Economic Forum annual meeting. So day 3 is a high impact folder, and President Trump will be speaking at 8:30 at the World Economic Forum. So we have to be careful because he could say a lot of things here and it could impact the markets directly, okay? So keep an eye on this, guys. Wednesday morning, 8:30, President Trump is speaking at the World Economic Forum on the third day, okay? And then we have normal trading after that. And if you will be trading Tokyo sessions, just keep in mind you do have some Australian unemployment change and unemployment rates if you are trading the futures market and the Tokyo sessions like we did last week. And then going into Thursday is busier. We've got day 4 of the World Economic Forum annual meetings. You can see it goes back to low impact after the big speakers are done and not as high impact. US, we finally have some US folders at 8:30. On Thursday, we have the core PCE price index. We have the final GDP quarter over quarter. And we have our weekly unemployment claims coming out every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. So you can see last Thursday's numbers that actually came out were 198,000. So they're looking to increase the unemployment numbers in the forecast of 5,000 to 203. And we'll see what comes out there. We also have our U.S. personal income month over month and our personal spending. And lots going on in the US. So you can see there's a lot. And this is all coming from October's data, okay? So you remember, guys, that the US government was shut down. So a lot of folders are now being released from the shutdown, okay? We also have our crude oil inventories. It normally comes out every Wednesday at 10:30, but it's been changed due to the holiday this week. And the crude oil inventories will be released at noon on Thursday. And lots of Thursday Tokyo session will be very busy going into it because you have your New Zealand high impact CPI folders. You have and then a lot of coming out of Bank of Japan. Okay. And then finally, to wrap up the week on the Friday this week, January 23. You can see it continues with Bank of Japan high impact press conference. You go into 2 a.m. pre-London. You have your British retail sales, high impact. You have your European, all the flash manufacturing and the flash services coming out. We have the German manufacturing, the German services coming out, the Eurozone, for the World Economic Forum, day 5 to wrap it up. We have the British manufacturing, British services. So you can see Friday will be a very high impact day to wrap up the week. You have your ECB, President Lagarde speaking. We move into North America. There's not much coming out at 8:30 US wise, but there is at 9:45. So 15 minutes in Wall Street, you get hit with 2 high impact folders. With the U.S. flash manufacturing and the flash services as well, okay? So looks like Friday is going to be the high impact day this week. Wednesday, with Donald Trump speaking at the third day of the World Economic Forum at 8:30, is another day, okay? So we just got to navigate through all of this week, and we're almost wrapping up the first month of this year, which has been pretty crazy already to get started, with a lot of news going on around the world, okay? Earnings. It's also a big earnings week, okay? Not today, because U.S. banks are closed. So you can see before the open today, we have no earnings. After hours, with the banks still closed, there's no earnings, okay? So today, no earnings. Picks up tomorrow morning. So tomorrow pre-market, these are some big names now. Now you have 3M Company. This is a corporation that's in the Dow Jones over here, 3M. They have their report at 6:30 a.m. We're continuing with some retail regional banks. So you guys saw last week we had the big banks reporting. Now it's more of the regionals. We have Fifth Third Bancorp over here. You got KeyCorp, US Bancorp, People's Bancorp. So these are smaller regional banks in the United States. They're not the big ones like JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. Those ones have already released. So these are the smaller ones. So a lot of regional banks start reporting tomorrow morning. We move into the after hours on Tuesday. Now there's some names that we're familiar with. Netflix will be reporting Tuesday at 4 p.m., right when the market closes. You have United Airlines, Interactive Brokers Group. Some of you guys are trading with IB over here. They are a publicly traded company. You have Progress Software Company, FMB Corporation, Hancock. So you have a few over here. Big name, Netflix, okay? So this will directly affect S&P 500. This will affect NASDAQ. You guys know that Netflix is part of those indices. Also, we want to listen to forward guidance of Netflix. Maybe if you want to buy some shares of this company or you're looking to trade it in the options, listen to the guidance. What does Netflix have in the pipeline? We want to listen to their subscriber count. Are subscribers increasing, decreasing, things like that, okay? And can you think back last 3 months? Has Netflix held anything to boost its share price? Remember when we were talking about this like last year when they held the boxing with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, and then they had the WWE wrestling. Now they're hosting some NFL games. So they're getting a lot of things now that could boost their subscriber count and things like that. Okay, so that's Netflix. That's, again, mark your calendars, Tuesday after the close, 4 p.m. Wednesday morning, we have Johnson & Johnson. Okay, so these are now corporations in Dow Jones and things like that. So Johnson & Johnson, Halliburton Company, Charles Schwab. So these are now household names you probably have heard or are familiar with. And these are comprised in those indices that we trade, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and US 30 Dow Jones. I'm going to be paying attention to these when they release these. Because I do publicly trade these companies too through the option chains. So I will be watching for these, okay? And let's just continue going through this. So you can see it's a very busy week with earnings this week. Wednesday after the close, you have Kinder Morgan, you have Bank of California, Pinnacle, Eagle Bancorp, Equity Bank shares. So you see, and then we're building our way to go into tech in the next couple of weeks, where we're going to start to see Apple and Nvidia and Microsoft and all of these other names. So this is a cycle we go through every 3 months. Every quarter, all of these corporations have to report on a quarterly basis. Thursday before the open, Procter & Gamble, PG, GE Aerospace. We have Texas Capital Bank shares. Do you guys remember last week at 2 a.m. Eastern when TSM, the Taiwan Semiconductors, reported, and they had a really good report? And when it led into New York, did you guys see AMD, Nvidia, and the semiconductors were up an average of 2 to 5% that pre-market and that day? It was all because they were riding the coattails of TSM. So that's why it's important to follow earnings, guys, because that can lead the way into if you're trading NASDAQ and if you're trading tech companies. So I trade US 30, and they are comprised with a lot of financial securities. So that's why I like to follow the regionals and the big banks when they're reporting, because it can give you a direction of how Dow Jones is going to move that week. Okay, so not a lot of people are interested in earnings, but again, if it should be part of your job as a trader to understand this, or be aware of all of this. And the more you know, the better you can trade. Okay, so Thursday after the close, we have Intel Corporation. I'm sure some of you guys are aware that Donald Trump and the US government bought 10% stake in Intel. First time we've ever seen this in our lifetime, that a government has bought into a publicly traded company, and they don't even hide it. It's right out there, you know, so why not follow their lead? That's what I say. Follow the money and do what they do. And hopefully you can put some money in your pockets just like they do. They're not hiding it anymore these days, right? They're just right in your face telling you, we're getting involved. We're going to be taking over Greenland, whether you like it or not. What are you going to do about it? That's the way how business is running these days. You have ISRG. This is Intuitive Surgical. This is a company that is all robotics and basically doing surgeries with robotics. So it's going to eliminate a human doctor doing heart surgery, brain surgery. It's going to be done by robotics. So this company has been around for a while, and it's really taken off with the robotics. So you never know what this company will do with robotics and AI and in the medical field and things like that to eliminate humans from doing surgeries. And Capital One Financial, Alcoa. So lots going on. I can go down this entire list. There's a lot of names. I focus on the big ones, the ones that are comprised of the big indices. And then finally, to finish off the week, Friday morning, SLB, Ericsson, and a couple small regionals. In the after hours on Friday, not much going on. And then that's it. The week is up. You start your analysis and enjoy your weekend, and we do it again Monday morning. Okay. Just in the news right now, under finance right over here, trade wars back on EU. So we got trade wars, tariff wars again, guys, it started. So right now, Donald Trump has applied 10% on all the NATO nations if they don't support the buyout of US buying out Greenland, and gave a date till I believe it's June 1st. And if US can't buy out Greenland by June 1st, these tariffs will increase to 25%. And you guys know from history, tariffs are not necessarily a good thing. You saw how back in April, when he put tariffs on all countries, and that's when the stock market took a big dump. And then they called him Taco. Trump always chickens out. He eliminated them, and then the market rebounded and it went to all-time highs. Now we're back into tariffs where the market is trading near all-time highs. So let's see what happens this week with all of this going on. U.S. stock futures sink after Trump's tariff shock. So you guys probably saw when the markets opened up last night, they gapped down. NASDAQ, US 30, S&P 500. They might further push down, or they might fill in that gap today. We will see. But the U.S. banks are closed today due to the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Okay. Micron says AI-driven memory crunch is unprecedented over here. Europe has a $8 trillion sell America weapon to hit back at Trump. So, guys, this is, this could get into a little bit of, you come at us with tariffs, we can come at you with something else. This is not good for Europe, and this is not good for North America or America. We've always been allies, and now we're breaking these relationships as we see right here. So Europe has an $8 trillion sell America weapon to hit back. This was just released 7 minutes ago. You can click on the article and read it. Trump's Greenland tariffs have blown up the EU's plan. Goldman economists see limited U.S. tariff hit to European growth. Europe stocks tumble as tariffs hits the auto luxury sectors. So you can see right now, if you're trading DAX is down over 1% right now, and it is affecting the European markets right now because when you have tariffs like that, a lot of automobiles come into the U.S. from Germany. If you buy BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, all of the luxury automobiles now will be hit with tariffs. So, that's going to affect Europe, just like it affected Canada over here with the tariffs. And what is moving right now? Gold and silver jump to record highs on Greenland tariff threats. So you guys know that these precious metals are safe havens. Whenever there's uncertainty and some craziness going on around the world, investors flock to gold, flock to silver, copper, precious metals. Why? Because they have value. They're actually worth something. It's not just like a piece of paper. It's actually a physical metal you can hold and you can touch. And there's limited supply of this stuff. So that's what we see. Like silver futures are up 5% right now. Probably going to hit $100 an ounce on silver very, very soon. So finally, silver is breaking out. It's been consolidating for about 15 years. Now it's finally moving. So congratulations to all of those individuals that are holding silver for a long, long, long time. You're finally now getting rewarded for your hard work and holding. And Bitcoin is in the news, and everything over here is in the news, okay? So let's just continue moving over. Guys, in our Discord, we do send out signals, trade ideas. This was from last, I believe on Friday, we sent out this gold signal for looking for buys above 4,600, that psychological number. So you can see how it was building its way back up. And finally, we got some blue volume to signal maybe we should be looking for a buy now. The volume closed above 4,600. There was some nice pullbacks in there. So anywhere around here, if you set a buy order, you're in the money. There's the first push up, but you guys got to learn how markets move. So that was the first push. But again, we're moving against a downtrend. So that was a counter trade. And then it came back down. So on the first push, you can do something. You can take out profit, move to a break even. But then also you got to be aware. You got to learn how markets move, because you could get into a potential retest of that same area, 4,600. And, you follow then your bars, you follow your candlesticks. There's like a 3-bar play coming out of there. And then it continued. The second leg, the bigger leg with the bigger volume, continued to break and take out this resistance. So that's a good setup, but you got to learn how to understand how the markets move to take these things in. But great move, guys, for about 200 pips. And we got a little bit of a Habibi party up here. Loving this move. Hopefully ICE doesn't come over here and interrupt this party for these guys, because they're partying right now, and that will spoil the party real quick. So over here we've got our this is our free Telegram channel. It's pinned at the top of YouTube for everyone. So thanks everyone for joining on YouTube. If you guys want, you can join this free Telegram channel. This is all of our live links to all of our live sessions. This was last night during the Tokyo session when the gold futures market opened up. You can join the Discord with all of the snipers in here. It was a fun little session last night, and there were some big moves. We were seeing 1 minute, 5 minute candles of 100 pips. We were asking, can you literally hit your weekly goal in trading for 1 hour? And you literally can. That's the moves of the markets right now. It wasn't like this years ago, and now there's tons of volume in the markets. This is a blog on the petrodollar, on the emergence and evolution of the petrodollar. I'm going to go over this real quick on today's call, and it's a really interesting article. If you do trade gold or if you trade crude oil, and understanding a lot about the US dollar and why there's wars, and it's all to do with the US dollar, okay? So if you haven't read this blog, I highly recommend that you guys maybe read it and understand it, because it could help you guys with your analysis. This was our SST market outlook that we released on the weekend. So this was the market analysis for the week, the dollar index, that's the DXY, oil, gold, Bitcoin, and the US indices, key levels, and all the before and after trade setups, trade ideas we send out to the group, and also all of the live sessions with Dave in the Zooms with all of the snipers, okay? And that's all available for you guys in the free blog, the free Telegram that's linked at the top of the YouTube channel. And guys, finally, this is our website over here. If you want to visit our website, stocksnipertrading.com, you can come over here. Lots of education. There's courses, webinars, boot camps, pretty much everything you can think of. It's all available for you here. Our live sessions this week. So if you guys want to know, every Sunday we adjust the schedule. So we have our trade ideas all week. This is our session today. We're going to do 7 to 10 a.m. Dave will be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 to 10 a.m. this week. And then we'll be picking up right after Dave. After a little bit of a break, we'll be doing our live post-New York sessions from 11 to 1 or 2 p.m. every single day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll pick it up on Friday. Friday will either be 11 or noon. I'll let you guys know because my son has an exam that day and I got to pick him up early from school. If he finishes it by 10, then we'll start at 11. But if he finishes the exam by 11, then we're going to have to start at noon. And next week, I'll let you guys know because it's exam week for him and the buses aren't working. So I got to go and pick him up around when he's done those exams. So I will let you guys know. The time will be either next week, 11 a.m. or noon. We start and we can go till about 3 p.m. Okay. And guys, I'll be uploading another psychology and mindset webinar on the website on Friday. For you guys. And this one, the topic is developing emotional intelligence in trading. Okay. And our free blog is right over here. Guys, I just want to go over this petrodollar real quick right now. So have you guys ever heard of what the petrodollar is? The concept of the petrodollar began in the 1970s, fundamentally altering global economics and geopolitics. So here's a little breakdown of its emergence and evolution and how it's impacted right now, today, as we're speaking. So the origins of the petrodollar background. In the post-World War II era, the Bretton Woods system established the US dollar as the world's primary reserve currency. So you guys know this, okay? This is not new. It was pegged and backed by gold. However, by the late 1960s, due to various economic pressures, the US faced difficulties maintaining this peg because there was other countries around the world accumulating gold, and that started to depreciate the US dollar. So US thought, man, we can't have this. We got to do something now because China is accumulating gold, Russia is accumulating gold, and all of these other countries are accumulating gold. So they thought, this is not good for us. We got to do something. So President Nixon and his administration in 1971 ended the dollar's convertibility into gold, effectively collapsing the Bretton Woods system. This move led to the free-floating fiat currencies we have today. So all the currencies we have today are free-floating currencies, not backed by basically anything, okay? They're backed by thin air. So this establishment was the petrodollar system. In 1973, in response to an energy crisis and following the OPEC oil embargo, the U.S. struck a deal with Saudi Arabia. This was a 50-year deal that was started in 1974, and it just ended in 2024. If you guys remember, there's a video of the prince who ripped the agreement in half after 50 years, and now we're not under this agreement anymore, where if you purchase crude oil, it has to be in US dollars anymore. So this 50-year agreement expired in August of 2024 with Saudi Arabia. This agreement was that Saudi Arabia would price its oil exports exclusively in US dollars. In return, the US provided military protection and access to American markets and technology. By 1975, all OPEC countries had agreed to sell oil exclusively in US dollars, solidifying the petrodollar system. So any barrel of oil that was sold globally had to be transacted in US dollars. So US benefits from this. And the impact of the petrodollar system, this system created a consistent demand for the US dollar globally because any country wishing to purchase oil needed US dollars, thereby reinforcing the dollar's status as the world's dominant reserve currency and helping the US run persistent trade deficits without devaluing its currency significantly. So what is the challenge and geopolitical dynamics? If you guys remember, in the year 2000, U.S. went into Iraq and started a war there, specifically with Saddam Hussein and the euro. So if you guys remember, you can read the articles, guys. It's not like me telling you guys this. They told us that they were going there for weapons of mass destruction. Like you can watch and see what George Bush was saying. However, there could have been other intentions why they were going there. In 2000, Iraqi President Saddam Hussein announced that Iraq would switch its oil sales from dollars to euros. I remember when he said this. So he no longer wanted, he said, I can pull out oil out of my ground, and why do I have to transact in US dollars? I want to transact in the euros. I want to have like a choice. So he did this and didn't last long. This challenged the petrodollar system because it saw that Saddam Hussein, at that time, the euro was 80 cents to the dollar. And they thought he was going to go bankrupt by doing this. And he started to, they started to see that it was going parity and above. So he was making lots of money and going against the US dollar by doing this. And that didn't work well with the US and their petrodollar system. So this challenged the petrodollar system and was perceived by some analysts as a factor leading to the 2003 invasion of Iraq, although more immediate concerns were cited as well. Okay, so that was with Iraq and Saddam Hussein. That's happened. History repeats itself. And then in 2011, we had another situation, this involving Libya and Gaddafi and the gold dinar. So Libyan leader Gaddafi proposed establishing a unified African currency backed by gold, which was called the gold dinar, which could potentially challenge the petrodollar system by pricing oil in gold. So when Libya sells gold, they get gold bars in return, not to do anything with the US dollar. This idea did not materialize as Gaddafi was overthrown and killed during the Libyan civil war, with NATO intervention playing a role. And we continue. Russia and China. Russia and China have taken significant steps to reduce their dependency on the US dollar. Russia has increased its use of the euro and the yuan, especially after Western sanctions following the annexation of Crimea in 2014. China, being one of the largest importers of oil, has initiated oil futures contracts priced in yuan and encouraging its trading partners to bypass the US dollar. So this is still happening in today's world. Recent developments, you guys know that Venezuela was in the news just a couple weeks ago. So facing US sanctions and economic hardship, Venezuela moved away from trading oil in US dollars under Nicolas Maduro, opting instead for euros and other currencies as part of strategy to circumvent US financial influence. So back a few years ago, US sanctioned Venezuela from selling oil in US dollars. So what did they do when they had these sanctions was they accepted euros, they accepted other currencies, the Chinese yuan, they also accepted cryptocurrencies and going against the US dollar. And you guys can see Maduro is in Brooklyn right now in jail, and there could be overthrowing that government as well over there. Saudi Arabia and diversification over here. There have been reports suggesting that Riyadh is exploring options beyond the petrodollar system, driven by changing geopolitical alliances and economic diversification plans such as the Vision 2030. Saudi Arabia's strategic partnerships, notably with China, indicate a potential shift towards accepting multiple currencies for oil trades, although this remains speculative right now. So the current climate, as of recent years, there have been a trend to de-dollarization across various nations, driven by geopolitical tensions and economic shifts. However, the US dollar still holds a dominant position in global reserves and trade. So in conclusion, the petrodollar system has been central to the United States' economic dominance since the 1970s. While there have been attempts and ongoing strategies to challenge it, particularly by countries like China and Russia, the US dollar remains ingrained in global trade. Nonetheless, shift towards multi-currency systems in oil trade signal potential changes in the international monetary landscape. So, guys, that's a quick little blog. Some of you guys are already aware of all of this stuff, but it's the more you know, the better you can learn how the markets trade. So this is going on right now, like as we're speaking. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. So you can see there's tariff wars going on. There's currency wars going on. There's actual physical wars going on. So that does affect everything we trade, guys. So that's why it's important to learn all about this stuff and how it affects the wars and things like that, okay? And it's unfortunate, but this is the world we live in, so you might as well learn how it moves, and because you can potentially make some money by trading. Guys, this is our YouTube subscriber count. Thank you guys to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, and we're on our way to 92,000. Let's get there. Okay, guys. So it is 7:30. We have about 45-50 minutes before the COMEX market opens up on gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a top-down analysis. We're going to go from a daily, bring it down to the hourly, finally bring it down to the minutes, and we're going to highlight some key points of interest. We're going to highlight some points of control zones. We'll highlight some support areas, some demand areas, and we'll see how everything is trading, okay? If you are going to take a trade today, please use proper risk management. SST, we're not financial advisors. We're just here to entertain and educate, and we trade alongside you guys. However, we do use proper risk management, okay? We're not blowing up accounts here. We're not full porting. We're trading with proper risk management, as you should be too, okay? And let's have some fun. Let's have a good week, and let's learn something. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone on Zoom. Thanks, guys, for joining. Sang, Conrad, Sergio, welcome. Chris, thanks for joining. Mike, thank you for joining. Timmy, welcome. Zizi, Khaled, welcome. Chris, welcome. Good morning. Mike, you're in Saudi, and it's the core of the oil business here for many years. Absolutely. Nicholas, good morning. Thanks for joining, guys. And everyone on YouTube, thanks, guys, for joining. Raj Snipers, welcome. You're number one. Arun, welcome. Thanks for joining. Kitaba, Kevin, welcome. Thanks for joining. Fodus, Jay Violet, welcome. All the way from Australia. Thank you for joining. Appreciate all of you guys. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. I'm going to do a top-down. Maybe some of you guys already have your top-down done from yesterday or earlier this morning. I'm going to do mine, and let's see maybe if we can match up some areas, or you can learn how I do it, okay? So this is gold on the daily. Obviously, it's in an uptrend. You guys know the state of the world right now, what's going on. It made an all-time high right there when we got up to 3,500 back in April 23 of 2020, not too long ago, okay? Basically, just a little over a year ago, we hit 3,500. And then you can see it kind of consolidated for the entire summer, and it started to break out end of August, early September. That's where we hit that brand new all-time high right up there, almost 4,400. It pulled back, held support just above 3,900, and we're well on our way to a new all-time high of almost just shy of 4,700. So that psychological 5,000 number is not too far away from gold, but it is continuing to move up with everything that's going on around the world. So it's not a surprise that gold, silver, copper, all of these securities are flirting with all-time highs and continuing to drive, because look at everything that's going on around the world, okay? Now, let's look for some obvious levels, okay? So right here, you can see there's an obvious level of support right here. So once we identify it, let's get in the habit of stretching this zone into the future. If gold ever comes back down here, that might be a suitable area to maybe look for a potential buy around 3,900. We can see when it officially broke above here with closing volume, you can see when it retested this area, bounced back up, it retested it. There's the double bottom. The second bottom traditionally has more volume, and then we moved right into the point of control of this big bearish candle right over here. And since then, it's been making higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, pullback. That was a significant pullback, but gold did not crash. It pulled back, and some patient buyers were looking to buy. A lot of pending orders sitting here at 4,300. Pick them up, and now we're trading at almost 4,700. So there's always opportunities, guys. Like right now, we're trading at all-time highs. I know everyone wants to buy, but we might have to wait a couple days to get a decent pullback to get back in, right? So that's what we got to learn as traders, is the patience, is the discipline, not always buying at the highest levels, because what happens if there is a retracement right there, then you're automatically in drawdown, and then you're going to take a loss, and where you don't need to necessarily do that, okay? So now what I'm marking was this previous all-time high and stretching this zone into the future. And now I can start to see that the volume is clearly above this zone. So this is another zone of support or demand above the one that I just figured out down here. So we haven't even came back into this one yet. We did right there, and it held up, it consolidated in here, and started to push out of here. So one more time, we have to test this zone before it can come all the way down in here. So that's what we got to continue to watch for. There is some levels now, some points of interest. What about this peak right here that came up, that pivot, and then pushed right back down? I can mark this up with a zone as well, or I can mark it up with just like a point of interest line, which I'm going to do here. And I'm going to make it yellow. I'm going to make it a little thicker so you guys can see it. So this area right around here, around 45.32 is, you can see at that body was resistance. We had this big bearish candle come down to close the year. This was Monday, December 29, okay? And then you can see when the markets were closed here pre New Year's Eve, like right here, it didn't do much. And then as soon as we started the new year, right here, Monday, January 5th, bullish engulfing candle closing above, and then continued to move out of here. So there was the first daily bar, Monday, January 12th, that closed above this yellow line. And you can see the retest we just had on Friday. It was a big bearish candle. And look, it just tapped right into that yellow line, picked up all those pending orders, and reversed right back up. We had a lot of news over the weekend, guys. That's why sometimes when you're trading and holding trades over the weekend, if you're on the incorrect side of the news, it could be very detrimental. So if you were in a sell on gold, and then you can see how the market opened up today, it was bullish ignited and just continued to rip up. So a lot of the sellers on gold that sold on Friday and were holding over the weekend, they probably blew up their accounts, or they're in severe drawdown. Okay, so you have to understand, if you're placing trades and holding over the weekend, that news can affect your trade. So you have to be able to manage the risk, okay? Another key area right now is, I'm going to mark the highest point right now of today, and it is technically the all-time high right now. So the all-time high right now is today's high wick, around 46.90. So it's just $10 short from that psychological number of 4,700, okay? So that's our all-time high up there. If we go above, okay, this is called now price discovery. Gold has never traded up here in the history of gold. Okay, so if it continues to go up, where could it go? What I would do is I would figure out the psychological $100 moves. So from 4,700, like if you want to market 4,700, it's right there. It's very close to our all-time high. Okay, so it's not too far off. But 4,700 is a psychological number. Next one would be 4,800, right? Next one would be 4,900. And then finally, the another one would be 5,000. I'm going to mark 5,000 with like another orange line, because 5,000 is a very psychological number, and that could be where it could come drive all the way up there, and then 5,000 could be where the big sellers are sitting. Okay, so we're nowhere near 5,000, so we still gotta go by one level at a time. So we got to kind of get above 4,700, maybe close above, and start to make maybe 4,700 the support to take us up to 4,800. However, if you're more on a smaller time frame that you trade on, like the 1 hour, the 30 minutes, you're an intraday trader, instead of having these big $100 moves, what you can do is you could have $25 moves. So from 4,700, you could mark up 4,725. You could mark up 47.50. You could mark up 47.75, and then 4,800. And then again, 48.25, 48.50, 48.75, 4,900. It's a online auction. So what we got to do is we got to figure out those psychological numbers where a lot of transactions take place, and that's where they take place, at those psychological numbers, okay? But what we got to do now is understand how we were trading last week. So you can see last week was in a flag, a bullish flag. There was a big bearish Friday that was a big black candle that came all the way down here. But you see, it didn't kind of close down here. It didn't close at the low. Maybe we would have started the week today and it would have been bearish. Near the end of the day, they picked it right back up and they closed it right there. So if we see our closing and our opening price, it's right there. It's literally an ignited daily candle. So it's very bullish. So that's our lowest point today, right here. So it starts bullish ignited. There wasn't, even when it opened up, there was no pullback. There was no drawdown. We saw that they gapped it up and there was no pullbacks. It just kept really driving, So it's still holding that bullish ignited open and continuing to drive. So it took out this level right here. This is where a body closed on Wednesday and where Thursday opened. So I'm just going to highlight that with a yellow line. That's another daily point of interest. If we do come all the way back down here, maybe 46.25 would be an area to maybe buy a dip. And then maybe we'll fill back up and continue to drive. Okay, but we're nowhere near this point down here. So we got to continue following it. That's when we hit the all-time high right there, 46.90, just $10 shy of 4,700. Some sellers are here and they're pushing it down currently where we are right now, trading around 46.70. Okay. One final thing that I'm going to do is I want to kind of figure out where 50% of this volume is, current volume. So I grab my Fibonacci tool, opening volume, and current volume right there. So I'm right around here. So what I'm going to do with that yellow line that I had at those bodies, I'm just going to move it up right there to represent 50% of the current volume. And then I got a wick, and a wick right there. So around 46.32. I could even find today's point of control. I know the daily candle has not closed yet, but currently that's where there's we haven't, came back in and kind of transacted in this area. So it's still holding, still bullish. If we look at the RSI, we're hitting above 70 right now. So it's starting to get a little bit overbought. However, it's still very bullish. Okay. And it's trending up. So if we want to trade with the trend would obviously be buying pullbacks because it's making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, new higher high. So if it pulls back, maybe we buy it and then it can continue getting up here. However, if bearish volume, okay, so if you guys remember, Friday came down here. Remember that wick did some damage, but the body where it closes tells the story. So this week, if gold retraces back down here and closes below this kind of purple line here and closes black and maybe retest this or this, that might be where the resistance is. And the sellers have already came down this wick and might come down and fill that wick and start to sell gold back down to here. Okay. But that's not developing right now because we have a still very bullish daily candle. So this candle has another 9+ hours to go. So what I want to do now is start to break this daily candle down into either 4-hour or hourly increments. So if I go into the 4-hour, I can see how the 4-hour candles were trading. I can see majority of last week, 4-hour candles were consolidating. It went down, it went back up. It went down, it went back up. It went down, it went back up. It went down, back up, down, back up. A lot of wicks pushing down. There was on Friday at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That was the big drop on gold, but then it came right back up. And then here's where we were trading 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. into the close on Friday. And that's where we opened up right now, our daily open, bullish ignited, and it drove right through there. So from 6 to 10 p.m., that's where we hit the all-time high. There was a little bit of a sell from there, but still closing above. So you still see the 4-hour candles have not transacted in that daily point of control. Now we're consolidating right in here. You can literally trap the 4-hour candles now. You can see the size of them from right there, the bodies right there. We are in now a 4-hour flag right now where it's coming up and then it went right back down. And it's coming back up, but it didn't come back up to break and drive to that all-time high. Now they've got a lower high, but there's still bullish volume. So, you can make this zone neutral if you like. You can kind of make it like this, neutral, and we're in this flag currently. But it is also a bullish flag pattern. This big candle's the pole on a flag, and here's the flag. And these setups have a high probability of continuing to break to the upside and maybe hit that all-time high, maybe get up to 4,700, maybe even more. Okay. However, if a lot of sellers now are coming in the market and they're offering maybe there's not going to be a bullish breakout and continue. What if it comes up and it's another lower high and they push it back down, and then we do something like this? Okay, then we'll test this zone. That would be maybe a good area to look for buys inside there. The opening price is a better discounted area, but we still haven't transacted in this zone yet. So what I do in there is I place an alert at that yellow line. I add an alert just to let me know in case it comes in here at some point today or tomorrow. Maybe I could be looking to buy in there. However, if it closes below, I flip that zone, I invert it red, and we might still get some selling down to come down to the opening week's balance down in here, maybe drop down further. Okay, so right now it is still bullish, still holding strong, still consolidating. Yes, there was some selling, but you see that selling candle did not close below here in order to push down. So there's still wicks holding it in here. So 4 hours still strong. I can see that Europe was the selling volume right here, 2 to 6 a.m. And now New York is starting 6 to 10 a.m. So this still has 2 hours and 12 minutes. This will reflect pre-New York COMEX. Wall Street is closed today, but it will close at 10 a.m. We don't have any big North American news today. U.S. banks are closed, and we'll see. Can it continue to close strong up here? Will we get one more push to fill that all-time high wick and drive further up, or are they going to push this back down? Okay. So now if I go into the 1 hour, this was the 4 hour analysis. Now I go into the 1 hour. So we can specifically see now each individual hour. So we can see at 6 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m., we were in the Discord with the snipers here, and that was that big move that hit the all-time high and closed right there. So that this was basically the only pullback we had coming down. Was 7 p.m., went back up. 8 p.m., this was the futures market, came down, closed below there, it pushed. That's the lowest point we have right now, like on the hourly. So I like to mark my hourly with a white line to let me know that was the lowest point right now, 46.53, right around that 46.50 psychological area. And then it came back up. Again, the hourly candles were kind of barcoding. Then they did push up. There's 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. Again, get back up here. 2 a.m., this is pre-London. They pushed it right back down. Here's London now, 3 a.m. It came up, transacted to about the point of control of this body, that bearish engulfing body. They pushed it right back down, but didn't close back down here to push down. So you see where it was consolidating, moved up, back down, there it pushed down, 6 a.m., and now 7 a.m., it's coming right back up. So we are in this still hourly flag that could continue push up. It looks like they're creating a small double bottom where it came down one bottom. There's the neckline. This looks like a double bottom coming back up. So this is going to be the big area we watch to see, can gold break out of 4675, 4677? Will it continue to push up, get to the all-time high wick, maybe create a new all-time high? Or will it come like right here and then they reject it back down? Then again, we're trading in this consolidated zone. So what we got to watch for buyers is, can we close above this 4 hour kind of consolidated zone, or there's a wick, a wick, a wick, and a wick? Are they going to continue to push this down, and maybe we might sell down further? Okay, so this is what we got going on. This hourly candle is going to close in 10 minutes now. And that will lead us into 8 a.m. and then we lead into COMEX at 8:20. So I can break these hourly down even further. I can go into the 15 minutes. I can see if I was a 15-minute trader, there's lots of pips to be made, because remember, these are big moves. Okay, these are not small moves. Just this bullish 15-minute candle, I like to measure these. If I was a 15-minute trader, that is about a $6 move on gold. That's 60 pips. Okay, the next one, again, bullish ignited. It looks like the same size, so that's about 60 pips. 60 plus 60 is 120 pips in 30 minutes. That could be your daily goal. You're in and out, right? These are big volume-based candles now, okay? So the 15-minute candles are kind of trading like this, still in that big flag. We're going to break it down to the 5 minutes, okay? So we can see the 5 minutes. I can see now exactly what time we hit the all-time high. It was 6:30. 6:30 was the big kind of FU candle. I sold this candle when it came back up and it broke right there. I sold this move down. Why? Because I saw the big FU candle come down, close near the low. I allowed it to open, come back. As soon as it broke that low, that's when I went in for a sell. That was in the Discord with the team there. This is what we got going on now in the 5 minutes, okay? So we've got a little bit of a neckline right here on the 5 minutes. This was a resistance. If you cut that bearish bar in half, see when it came back up, back down. Came right in there, back down. Came in there again, back down. Came in again. No blue volume closed above. They pushed it right back down. Now it came back up. So there is a blue candle right there at 7:15 that did break out and close above. So this red line is resistance, 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 resistance. Now with that body closing above, I want to see if this red line will be support, okay? Will it be exactly right at the red line? How about I see that body right below the red line, right there, and I make the same equal distance above that red line. Okay, a little bit above, a little bit below. And what I do is I make it kind of like a green zone to indicate, to see if this will still hold support. Maybe I could look to buy a pullback off of this around 4.665, 6.6 area, and maybe we'll come back up. Okay, if the sellers close below here, I'm going to flip that little zone red because buyers might buy into it and then they push it back down. And then we're trading back down to 4.660, maybe even break for a new low to 4.655. Okay, so right now it's coming down. Okay, we've got a lot of resistance up here on the 5 minutes. You see up here, right up here, see what I'm doing? Okay, so remember, this was the big 4 hour area. You can see that's when we broke out. That's when we hit the all-time high, impulse, impulse. See how I kind of just capture those bodies of volume and stretch it into the future? Again, bodies of volume, those wicks. And so this is our big red like resistance supply on the 5 minutes that we see no closing volume above here, okay? And then when it came up, this is technically a lower high pushing down. Where is it pushing down? It's pushing down. If I was to cut this candle in half, this big bearish bar, I can see the wick already traded into it, traded into it, traded into it, and into it. So you can see 4.672, 7.3, just below that psychological 7.5 area is still pushing the market down, okay? So we are trading now in between this red line and this red line, where it came up, coming back down. Let's see if it will pick back up, okay? But we're going into 8 a.m. in the next 6-7 minutes. 6-7, okay? I didn't mean to say that, but that's pretty stupid of me to say that, but in the next, exactly, yeah, next 6 minutes, we're going into a new hourly candle. So what we can do is we can wait for the new hourly candle. You can take a look at your hourly candle. It's still very bullish, but we are getting a rejection wick coming down and it's closing in 6 more minutes. So if you're not in a trade, maybe we watch and see. Will this hold support right here? Maybe 8 a.m. Will it come back up? Or are these sellers going to actually physically close below here? Okay. Thanks everyone for joining. If you guys can hit the like button on YouTube, if you guys can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, we do appreciate it. We'll be doing live trading this week in New York and post New York. And just look at that return right there. Wow. So it came all the way down there, hit, and returned right back up. So I'm going to follow this volume. I'm going to follow this candle. I'm going to see where it closes. And we're 5 minutes away from a new hourly candle. Okay. I'm going to add our SST daily bar indicator. We know that we have a really bullish daily candle. Whoa, holy shit. There's the opening price. You see, it's bullish ignited. It was really bullish. This is basically the first hour of the opening from 6 to 7 p.m. And that's where we hit the highest point at 6:30 p.m. I can go back and see the 5 minute candle that did that. And since then, we've been trading in this tight range right in here, which could still definitely continue to go back up. However, we do have some selling pressure right now, but let's see if they can physically maybe be able to close below here. We're kind of consolidating still where it came down. See, now it's building a little bit of support right at this level, still holding in here, okay? And I'll add some EMAs. On EMA 9, this is our shorter time frame EMA 9, this green line. The volume is still above the 9 EMA, which is short-term bullish. And I'll add the longer term, the 200 EMA, which is my purple line, and it's all the way down here. Okay, so the purple line is at my hourly kind of resistance point down in here at 46.50. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about anything right now? So we'll stick with gold today because, guys, like if you're just joining us, U.S. banks are closed today, Monday, due to this holiday right here. It's Martin Luther King Day, right over here, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So U.S. banks will be closed. So NASDAQ and US 30 will not be trading the best today. So we'll stick with gold for today's session. Then tomorrow, when we get back into it, we'll do gold, NASDAQ, and US 30. Okay. Is anyone in a trade right now? Preferably, I hope you guys are in buys. Stephanie, you're in buys? Good. So let's see if we can get bullish volume closing above this red line because the 5-minute candles failed right there at 3:05. So this is right when London started. Couldn't close on the next candle. We came back, we revisited this area at 4:15, 4:20. Did not close above. We broke out again right now, 7:30 and just 7:40. Again, no blue volume closing above. So it's still got sellers there. So it would be really good for buyers if they can close above this red line, maybe to build support off of this to take us up to this red zone. But it's still getting rejected and there's still lower highs. So there is lots of sellers still in this area right here, okay? And we're moving into 8 a.m. in the next 2 minutes. Is everyone keeping up with all of the news around the world right now? Lots going on. I'm sure whichever country you live in around the world, there's some sort of news going on. We live in Canada, Dave and I over here, and there's lots going on in Canada. Like our prime minister over the weekend went to China, first time in 12 years, and negotiated for their BYD electric vehicles for 49,000 units to come into Canada, and all due to the U.S. and Donald Trump with the tariffs and all of this. Now, Canada's looking for new trading partners around the world. So it's a big change everywhere. With Greenland, with the NATO nations, with everything going on in Iran right now, man, I hope everyone is safe out there in Iran. All the protesters, there's protesters in America. There's news going on in Venezuela, all over the place. But this is what drives markets, guys, unfortunately. I know someone said, Ron, am I wrong trading crude oil when everything's going on? I'm like, this is how the markets work. If you're not trading, the elites are trading. They're making money. So, it's sad. We got to have a heart for the innocent people, but this is how markets move. If this is not for you, trading probably is not for you. Unfortunately, wars move securities. It's been like this for over 100 years, probably even before 100 years. But, if you don't have the heart for this, it's not easy. Okay, so here we go. There was the close again. Did it close with volume above? Not yet, okay? So this is another push. This is the 8 a.m. push. This is a new hourly candle. So number one, remember, candles have jobs to do. This candle's job with all these higher lows is to continue to break this wick and create a new higher high. We got to wait. I can't tell you if this candle is going to close right now because there's still 4.5 minutes to go. So, if you take a buy right away on that candle, you're buying on an impulse. Okay, so we all need to learn patience in trading. You got to set some rules and guidelines prior to trading. Are you going to wait for this candle to fully close, or are you just going to go in as soon as it opens? That's a lot of times where we trade on impulse and we make a lot of critical mistakes. Okay, sometimes, yes, you buy on the impulse and it's driving all the way up here. But in a situation like this, if you bought that open, you're technically in drawdown right now. So it's a spin top candle. We've got multi rejections up here. So like this could be developing like a double top up here where it came up one top, there's the neckline, there's the second top, and now we're dropping back down. And there's your M pattern coming back down, okay? So you can see how they faked out the buyers right at the opening price here, okay? And this is, again, a bearish pin bar, maybe a shooting star candle coming down. However, there's still 3.5 minutes to go. It could just come down here again, pick up some pending buyers, and come right back up, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this body to close no matter what. Reason being, it gives me more information. I know I might be missing out on a sell, but, you know, I could have said the same thing when it opened. I missed out on a buy. Like, you know, I don't play those woulda, shoulda, coulda stories. So you got to tell yourself, either wait for the body to close, or if you're going to go in either on a buy or sell prior to the candle closing, you need to learn how to lower your risk. Because if it goes against you, you can maybe cut that loss and not do any damage to your account, okay? And then also, guys, in 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, we have COMEX market opening. Okay, and a lot of this 5-minute volume, red line, like right here where these bodies are, it's kind of consolidating right now in this location right now. Okay, so this is a big bearish candle. Can it create a new lower low? Can it take out that wick and then come drive into this area of support over here? Or will it pick up a higher low wick, come back up? Will it make an equal low and come back up? So this candle now is closing in 90 seconds. So this is now where we got to pay attention to the close. Did anyone watch any of the NFL football games over the weekend? Some crazy finishes, a lot of overtime games. Some good games. Okay, so there's some news coming out right now from the German Chancellor, Merz. We know Trump threatens tariffs, but talks have also led him to refrain from implementing them. That has been my strategy, and I will continue to pursue it. So the German Chancellor is talking right now about the tariffs. New tariffs bring danger of escalation and hurt consumers. Tariff increases would be paid by U.S. citizens, but would also harm the German and European economies. So to all of our American friends, if you want to buy a BMW, a Mercedes, a Porsche, things like that, nice luxury German automobiles, you unfortunately have to pay that 10%. And in June, if Greenland can't be bought out, then those are going to increase to 25%. So if you're in the market to buy a German luxury automobile in the United States, you unfortunately are going to have to pay that extra tariff. So that's why they place tariffs, so that now you can buy maybe a Ford or a GM or a Stellantis that is made in your country, right? But not everyone wants to buy a Ford, GM, or Chrysler. Stellantis, sorry. But look at how it closed back inside here. Higher low, closed back inside, okay? So this candle opened, got rejected, came all the way down bearish, and then closed right back inside here, okay? So now, again, if we trade off of this, do we think that it's going to continue to push down? If we are, we could look for a potential sell. But again, the body has not closed below here. It could just come down here again, pick up a wick, and come back up. Unless we think that this is going to be the move that's going to push it down with the volume. However, if you're not sure, you can, again, you have to wait, again, another 4 minutes, okay? And yes, we might miss out on a move coming down, but this is all you have to understand. You got to make up your mind when you're going to take a trade, if you're going to take a trade. You can even go scale down. You can go from the 5 minutes to the 3 minutes. Okay, it looks like the 3 minutes are making a 3-bar play. Could be eventually continue pushing down. Looks like the 1 minute candles want to further maybe push down here. They came up, they came down, came up. Again, the 1 minute candles have made a resistance right here at 4,670. And we'll see if 1 minute candles can continue to push down. Again, if you're waiting for the 5 minute bar, you got to unfortunately wait for 5 minutes to close, okay? So I see a wick, and a wick. Still holding support, higher low, higher low, higher low. Still the volume is trading in this consolidated area, which would definitely flip and come back up bullish and start breaking out bullish again, okay? And now we're about 13 minutes away from COMEX, okay? And COMEX is going to bring in that added volume because now the gold exchange will be opening up. We're in a range. We're in this flag. It could definitely go both ways. Guys, let's see what's going on in the Discord over here. Okay, so this is our Discord commodities channel. These are all of our snipers in here. Good morning, guys. If you guys want to share anything in here, you guys are welcome. Okay, so you can see if you bid on a short, it did come down a little bit, but then it reversed back up. No black candle has closed below there. So now it's moving back up bullish now. So we're still in this barcoding phase. Bullish, bearish, bullish, with 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. So the job of the buyers is to, again, close above this red line. So now it's coming right back up, okay? So they picked up, higher low, higher low, higher low, still holding, still bullish. If you caught some sells, did you pip, did you dip, or you're still holding, okay? No black volume has technically closed below there, and I don't have any blue volume technically closing above here as well. Okay, so it's still building. It's still an accumulation phase, but we're in a probability of a bullish flag that could continue moving to the upside, okay? Unless there's some manipulation and some fake outs in the markets in the next 10 minutes prior to COMEX, okay? So here's the close of this candle in 1 more minute now. Will it engulf this body? Will it close above here? Will it just be another wick that comes up and gets rejected back down? So both buyers and sellers are accumulating, okay? So it could still continue to move in either direction. And now we have the last 30 seconds, which is important on all candlestick frames to watch the last 30 seconds. Reason being, it shows the momentum going into the close and how that momentum could continue into the next bar. Okay, so we got a nice bullish bar. Now the close. Will it close right at the high? Let's observe the wick. Will there be a pullback? Will it open ignited right away and just take off? Okay. So there's the close. Wow, look at that rejection right at the close. Okay, so wow, okay, look at that. So they rejected it right at the close and they closed it bearish, okay? So look at that big rejection. Now those buyers, again, have to accumulate all the way back up to bring it up. That was a big, massive rejection right into the close. So some seller came in, got activated, and pushed it right back down. Now this bar, again, is opening bullish, ignited, and pushing back up. Okay, but it's got that long distance wick to fill in order to break a new high. So a seller could come in right now, produce a lower high, start offering, and push this thing right back down. Okay, so that's significant. See, again, how the volume did not close above that red line right at the close, the last second, like it pushed it down. Okay, so we're getting a lot of volatility in here. Okay, and we're still basically in this flag. Still hasn't really moved anywhere. So you can see that the buyers are buying, sellers are selling. And this could definitely continue if sellers sell, fill these wicks and drop through here. So you guys see how that happened at the last second, right? Tight consolidation, guys. Man. Last night when the market opened, gold was fantastic. It's just making nice big moves. And then now you see when there's good volume, take advantage of good volume. When there's volume like this, it's tough to trade. You also have to be kind of selective with the volume that you trade. But it's still building up. But again, I asked the question, did any blue volume close above this red line? Technically not yet. So we're still just in this flag, still building up, still has higher low, higher low, higher lows. So there is still some buyers. And we're getting closer to that COMEX market open. So you can see how buyers are buying, sellers are selling. Buyers are buying, sellers are selling. Eventually when COMEX opens, I pretty much can guarantee that a lot of this volume will be redistributed. Will it be going to the upside up here, or will it be going to the downside? That's what we got to figure out. That's what I'm looking to see, where some volume will close below, above, or below. Will it be big body candles? Maybe then I can start to maybe cut in half, maybe find a point of control, trade off of that if it does eventually close. What are you guys thinking? Bullish or bearish at COMEX market open in the next 6 minutes? Bullish above this red line, bearish maybe below here. Okay, again, you see that blue candle came up and they flipped it back down. Okay, so there is sellers here. This could be like, could sell, take out those wicks and drive right into this green box. And this has not been kind of retested, where it was previous resistance turning to support. But with that bigger selling volume, it could definitely break right through there. And then I want to see finally if it can hold support right there, 46.60. Okay, so this is now the redistribution of sellers with less than 1 minute to go. So will this be the first bearish bar closing below the supporting level? Okay, look at that again, how tough it's trading. Came down there, caught a wick, and right back up. Okay, so when the markets trade like this, it's best to be on the sidelines if you're not in a trade. Look at it. Wow, look at the direction. Came all the way back down there, flipped back up bullish. It's one of these spin top candles, indecision, difficult to trade off of. You got to continue to be patient. Or watch right into the close, how it will close. Sometimes it will come down with some big black volume right at the close and continue driving down. Sometimes it will flip blue right at the close and continue going back up. Here's the close in 5 seconds. And then we're 5 minutes away from COMEX. So if you take a trade like right now, you're trading prior to COMEX market open. Okay, so again, we're still in this zone. Blue candle has not closed above there. A black candle has not closed below there. We're still inside here. If you trade at this time, I encourage you use a small size, reduce your risk, because you got to know that the COMEX market is opening in 4.5 minutes, and that could come in with bigger volume. And if you're on the wrong side, you could make a mistake. With a small size, you can control that mistake. If you use a normal or rather large size and you make a mistake, it could go against you as one of your losses of the day, right? If you're speculating right now, go small. Once you figure out what's going on, then you can trade a little size larger, your normal trading size. But we're still kind of consolidating here. So I was looking to trade from 8 a.m. into COMEX, but there was no setup. So I'm on the sidelines still. So I don't think I want to trade right now with 3 minutes to go into COMEX. I will wait for this bar to close. I'll see how maybe the first 5 minutes of COMEX market opens. Again, I go over the news. Do we have any significant news coming out at 8:30 today? It's all Canadian news, no US news. We have the US bank holiday today. And we're still stuck in this range. Chop, chop, chop. Okay, so look at how it's coming right back up. Again, the support has not been broke or breached. We have a higher low, like that wick is higher than that wick. This wick is higher. So, the depth of the market is still building buy side. It's just they cannot close with conviction above here. And there's a lot of sellers here, sellers here, sellers here, sellers here, sellers here. And you see how the volume is still consolidating in this range. We're still in this big bull flag that could technically break out bullish. 2.5 minutes to go, and then we're walking right in. I'm going to check my spreads right now. 1.1. I'd like trading gold when it's a little lower, but I understand we've got higher than normal spreads right now. See, we don't have any big body candles to base any like this was a nice big body candle. We could have, cut that in half, found a point of control. We can't do anything with these little skinny spin tops. They're not giving us critical information. Okay, now, again, but what I noticed is lower highs, they're coming back down. If anything happens on the stream, if it freezes, we froze once on last week's session. Make sure you hit the notification bell, and then I will come right back, and then we'll get right back into it, guys. But sometimes the stream freezes, and then I have to turn my computer off, turn it back on. It spoils the flow, but it happens. Okay, so now we have 1 minute to go into COMEX, and then also we got to keep in mind that we have 8:30 a.m. coming up, so that's a new 30-minute candle as well. Let's see if there's any news coming out right now. Okay, so the German Chancellor is speaking. And here we go. Here's the open of COMEX, bullish ignited. Okay, and they flipped it down. Okay, so it's a small little doji candle. Again, the question is, do we wait for the full 5 minutes for this candle to close, or do we go with the impulse move? Okay, so it's still building in here, coming back up, fill that wick. Can it break through here? Will it get rejected back down? Man, so it's still another inside candle in this consolidated zone. Came up, back down, still holding some bullish volume. So let's see if this bullish volume can hold this opening balance and still build up, or the buyers will lose this position down here. So it's still technically holding. We're still in this zone. This is the first 1 minute. Okay, so they've rejected the move. Now will it lose its opening balance? Because if it loses opening balance, you can see it comes down like a bearish pin bar. Could be a shooting star that continues to drive down these wicks and now start to redistribute. Okay, so it did break down. Now it came down. Let's see if it pulls back up. And then one more push down could be the redistribution of COMEX. Okay, so it's coming down. It got a wick here, a wick here, a wick here. But with the COMEX volume could redistribute and break these wicks and create new lows. Has not tapped into this green zone as of yet. We have 3 more minutes to go on this candle. So currently the selling has held up and continued to push down. Okay, so it got another wick. Didn't fill all these wicks, so it's coming back up now. With 2.5 minutes to go, so half this candle is exhausted. It's flipped back up into, again, a bearish spin top. We're right back to virtually where we opened. Right here, again, the battle with 2.5 minutes to go. So you remember, it opened bullish, ignited, came up here. They rejected it all the way right back down there. In the first 2.5 minutes, it came back up. We're basically right back to the opening balance with this yo-yo, this seesaw price action with all of these spin tops. So you can see how shitty the volume is currently, okay? So maybe we wait for a body to close. However, if you're feeling it for a buy or sell, you can trade in this if you like, or just wait for more verification. Wait for more confirmation. Just be patient. Unless you can predict which way it's going to go with what you're seeing right now. Still hard to make that conclusion currently. If I was leaning towards something, I would be leaning towards selling. Just the way how it's building from the top and the volume is big, bearish. It could technically maybe, if it closes below, could fill those wicks. But I'm waiting for this bar to close in order to tell me a little bit more direction, so I'm not just guessing here. So now we have 1 minute and 20 to go. And we're still with the volume inside here. So this is tough volume. Very difficult. You can see, like, even to trade 5-minute candles, how much patience you have to literally have. Because it presented a lot of opportunities to look for buys, a lot of opportunities to look for sells, and you could have been caught in either direction. So here's the close of this candle in 40 seconds. This is horrible volume. Like when I say it's good volume, this is the worst volume you can trade. This is as ugly as it gets. So a good strategy to learn is just patience. Patience. That's it. If you don't need to force trades. If you feel like you need to take a buy or sell, like I said, go small sizing. Okay, here's the close now. 10 more seconds. Will they redistribute the last 5 minutes of COMEX going into that 8:30 candle? It's closing with bullish volume. Okay, so it could continue to come back up. It could go back down. It could play this game with these wicks. It's still in this consolidated zone. It's still in this bull flag. So what do we do now? Should we trade this candle, or do we wait now till 8:30, which is 4.5 minutes away? And then we get a new 30-minute candle. So what we can do is we look at the 30-minute candles. Our last two 30-minute candles are basically indecision candles as well. Okay, I don't see any 30-minute volume closing above here. It tested right there, it tested right there, it tested right there. I don't see any 30-minute volume closing below here, maybe to push down in the next 30 minutes, okay? So maybe we have to wait 4 more minutes to go because our 30-minute candles are trading sideways as well. And this is how it looks on the 5s. Nasty. So will this candle be the black one that comes down and close below here? It's broke right there, it broke right there, it broke right there, it broke right there, it broke right there. The previous one, now it could come down again. You could trade it again, but it could be on impulse where it goes down and gets another wick and comes back up. But this could be the one that really comes down and starts redistributing. But again, if you go with that, you could have done that on that one, on that one, on that one, on that one, and that one, and you were in trouble. Okay. So best scenario is don't worry about the woulda, shoulda, couldas. Just let's wait for volume to naturally close. Let's see if we do get a black bar closing below here. Let's see, maybe if they flip it back up and it turns blue up here and ready to go back up bullish at 8:30. Tough trading volume. Okay, so now you got again a bearish bar coming down with 2 minutes and just over 2 minutes to go. It came down there again, picked up a higher low, coming right back in. So we'll figure out where this volume now closes. You guys feel like it's trying to go bearish? Yeah, it looks like that, but it could. But you got to get that volume to cooperate, close below here so that it can continue to push down. So now we have 90 seconds to go on the close. Again, we've got pushed right back up right here. See where the battle is at this location right here? Man, so the buyers flip this candle back up and it could technically 830 be bullish, right? Okay, so let's watch directly go right into the close. 1 minute and 15 more seconds. Holy, look how many times it got rejected here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Got rejected down here. All created higher lows. We've gotten rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times up here, sell side. And the volume is still trapped in this little location right here. And we got 1 more minute to go into the close. It's tough, but guys, this is your job as a trader. You're going to have to sometimes be forced to watch this and trade after the fact. Okay, so now look at, we've got a nice big hammer candle building out of here. Will this one close above here? Will we catch maybe a quick little pullback, or will it just break out right away at 8:30 and just continue driving up? Okay, here's the close now in 20 seconds. Will this be the first blue candle that can close above this resistance? Or is it going to just continue inside here? And it's still building up this bullish flag pattern. Technically has a high probability of continuing to break out of here. Here is the close. Okay, so close near the high, bullish ignited candle. Just a quick little retest of that candle. That's where 50% is. If it can continue to hold, if you buy, you're still buying on impulse. It has not closed above this location yet. So it could be another candle that just drives up here, gets rejected, and comes back down. It is holding this bullish ignited open. Okay, so it's still holding that. Now let's see if it maybe gets rejected back down and kind of refuels itself. Still holding that bullish body, or will it lose its bullish ignited open? Okay, so now it's testing it again. That bullish ignited open kind of refueled itself one more time. That was the impulse break right there. So let's see if it comes back down one more time. There it comes back down. Inverted hammer bar. Will it continue to fill back up? And maybe you can take the buy or wait for the body to close. Or that's it. It's a rejection and we'll come back down. Okay. It's very, very complicated here in this area. But you got to kind of read how it opened, how it pushed out, how it's refueling itself. Rejected, shooting star candle. This could be one of those FU candles. that they've rejected it back down now. Holy shit. So it's in this tough range. Okay, you see what I mean? If you bought on impulse, you could get yourself in trouble. So it's back down in here. It couldn't hold its opening balance. Now retested about where I just cut that previous bar in half, just at that 50% line. Now will this be a shooting star candle coming all the way back down? Then it sells off, and then it spiked the liquidity right there. So this is tough, guys. This is not easy. But and then the volume is still, inside this area here. Okay, 3 more minutes to go. It came down, picked up, coming back up. It's a spin top. Holy. Still lots of time left on this candle. We got 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Canadian high impact news is being released, the CPI data right now. Canadian news doesn't really affect the gold as much as US high impact news. And now we got 2 more minutes to go. Okay, so can the buyers continue to ask up here, close it above? Then we get some verification that they can close above here. Or will sellers continue offering and push this thing down? Are we consolidating in this area? I know it's boring, guys. It's tough. I know a lot of you guys are saying it's like watching paint dry. I know. It's not easy. Maybe this might be our first bar that closes above. Maybe we can catch a retest confirmation trade. Stephanie, been buying at the bottom. Nice. Okay, so let's hopefully it can close strong above here and continue to break out of here. So you see how this tough closing area right here. 90 seconds to go. This range sucks. Holy shit, this is a tough ass range. Man, is it ever difficult. But you see why having patience pays off. Okay, you can avoid making some mistakes. You can avoid getting upset. You can avoid, taking unnecessary risk. Okay, both if you were buying or selling. And the volume is literally still inside here. Okay, now look at how the return is coming down. Okay, so it could have spiked the liquidity there, and now the sellers are bringing it down, and it might close below there, and then the redistribution of the sell side volume could come into play and trap buyers. Okay, so, but ultimately, if it closes inside here again, it's still building. I can see they came up there, it's still building higher lows, but maybe I don't have that closing volume I need up there. So then I know if I buy the next trade, again, I'm trading on impulse, but it's slowly building its way up there. Not easy stuff, guys. Okay, so here's the close. Again, it's a bearish kind of pin bar, still closing inside here. So it did not close, confirmed, buyers closed above, sellers did not close below there. So it's still in this accumulation zone where it's just buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers. So both sides are still accumulating. And now we're into 8:30. So when you look at your 30-minute candles, again, it could be coming down, but we have big wicks above and big wicks below. That's why I'm watching the 5-minute candles, if we can get some closure above here or a closure below there. Maybe today should have been a day off. We could have slept in and avoided this stuff. Okay, so they could play this yo-yo game again, where it just comes down, picks up a wick, goes back up. However, we could get a bearish bar that physically closes below here and maybe wants to go down a little further. But it's still holding the small doji candle, still inside here. 2.5 minutes to go, lots of time. Primal, to be honest, you struggle with this particular setup. I think a lot of traders struggle with this setup. Why? Because it's shown us so many opportunities to buy, and it's shown us so many opportunities to sell. But it has not closed with any blue volume above here or any black volume below here. So that's when situations like this, I know it's very difficult to trade this, but just be patient and wait for volume to close. And the only other thing I can suggest is if you do lean towards either a buy or sell, like I said, use a very small size, like a micro size that if you do get on the wrong end, then you could close it with minimal loss. Okay, now let's see what's developing. Now this is a big bearish candle. Let's see if it can take out the low and create a new low, or will this just come down and whipsaw right back up? Or will this actually be the big bar of volume closing below here, and then we can literally cut it in half? Or is it going to be another one of these bars that just comes down, picks up a wick, and just drives right back up? And we know the market is literally playing a lot of games now. But this one could be our first bearish bar that closes below. The cut point could literally be where we're looking to close below. And then maybe we could wait for a pullback, and then we sell the retest, okay, to continue to sell gold down. So sellers are in control technically right now. But the overall trend is bullish, right? So even if we go on sells, we're still counter trading the overall bullish move. So I want to see if it can transact into this green zone. Has not came down into there as of yet. So with that wick, it looks like it's an equal low. Okay, so if I match it with that previous wick right there, that wick, it didn't technically break for a new low. It's an equal low. Those are tweezer bottoms. So they didn't break that support right there. And now it's coming right back up. Okay, so it's not easy. It's not easy. The sellers could not even take out that low to create a new lower low to advance the move down as of yet. So now it's coming right back up. Here's the close in 10 seconds. Will they close it like right around this area, or will it close right back in that box? Wow. I don't think we've ever seen volume like this in a long time trading live with you guys. Wow. So they returned it tweezer bottom lows, equal bottom lows, right back into the zone. And now we're advancing with that momentum opening bullish ignited. Holy shit. This is a lot of yo-yo action. Would have been better to stay in bed and be sleeping right now. Yeah, definitely discipline is needed today. On all days, you need discipline, but especially trading this mess right here. Okay, so now they're continuing to come down. Okay, so you can see that there's a lot of selling pressure. Now will they take out this low? Will they take out those equal bottom lows with this push down? Okay, because if they fail again, it comes down, higher low comes right back up. So sellers, their job is to take out this low. And they've failed so far. We still don't have a black bar closing below this location. Will this be the first black bar closing below here? And then they could continue to take out these lower points down in here. This price action is crazy. It is. But it's good for learning, okay? Because you're going to see this price action at some time, in all securities. Doesn't matter what security. Today it's on gold. Tomorrow it might be on NASDAQ. Next day it might be on GBP USD. But you got to, you got to learn how to trade this stuff. So there they technically broke those equal bottom lows, okay? So now we have a new lower low in the market. This is the redistribution of the sell side volume. Now it's transacting right into that zone, okay? So this could be our big body candle that closes with the volume. So you see how it came right to that red line, right in the green box, and it just grabbed that wick. So it engaged in a pending order. So it grabbed it right there, but we still have this big bearish volume coming down. So it could technically offer where it picked up and continue driving down. Now things are going to get interesting, okay? So let's see now, when it's engaging in here, will this thing flip back up? Will it close below here? If it was to close with this exact volume, this would be a bar that I see closes below. I would definitely be able to cut it in half, and maybe I want to continue to trade down with this. However, it could just come down in here, get a wick, and turn blue back up. Okay, so we got to follow this, continue to follow this volume. 90 more seconds. See, this is the first time now we're transacting in this location. And now we have 1 more minute to go. And we also have a new 15-minute candle opening at 8:45. So we might have our first 15-minute candle that closes with volume. I watch it on the 5s. Okay, so there is a little bit of a return, but where will it close now? Close inside this green zone, above it, will close below it. 30 seconds. Okay, so here's the close, 5 seconds, still a return. Okay, so we returned. First bar that closed below. So if I'm looking for like a retest to maybe sell that previous resistance, okay, the previous support turned to resistance with that body closing below. However, if I cut that bearish candle in half, it's right there, the halfway point. So it's coming back up bullish. Let's see if the buyers can break above here maybe, or right now they're getting rejected. Okay, so it got rejected so far, first 30 seconds. Okay, now the candle flipped. Okay, I'm going to take a sell now. I'm going to go in on a sell to clear this green zone and break below it. Maybe I would love if it can transact back down to that red line down in there. However, I got to now follow this volume to see if it can continue to close below this green zone. Then if it closes below there, I'll flip the green zone red to see if I can further push down. My stop loss is going to be pretty tight, okay? Yes, I could put it all the way back up there, or I could just be above this bar right here. That's where I'm going to keep it, because then if it rotates back up here, okay, I get stopped out of this trade, but I want to prevent it from turning bullish and driving all the way through here. So I'm going to see if these sellers are here. I'm just going to place my stop just right above that previous wick right there and see if it's got enough momentum to continue to create some lows and break through here. Okay, so I got my closing bar. I've already seen it's retested below the 50%. It didn't retest the actual this location right here that I wanted, but still below 50%. So now we're transacting in this green zone. So I got to see if the sellers can continue to bid down below here and flip this zone to convert it into a selling opportunity. But I don't want to give it too much room in case it comes up bullish and then starts breaking out, because I'm counter trading an overall move. So that's my accepted loss. And that's it. Then if I get stopped out there, I will get out of here and maybe I might follow the buying. Okay. So I need to manage this now while I'm in the trade, going into 2.5 minutes. And this is the new 15-minute bar as well. So got to see if that 15-minute sellers, if they can continue to bid down into here. Okay, so again, it retested that 50% of that bar, the closing bar. Sellers are still here. Now, it's a spin top, right? Bear spin top. I'd like to see if they can transact near the lowest point, break, and then do its job to fill this low, and then possibly get ready to close below this green zone. However, it is a spin top candle. We've seen what spin top candles can do this entire call. They go down, they go up, they go down, they go up. But I got to follow the closing volume. And just measuring moves, okay, from entry. If it can clear the green zone, I'm maybe 25 pips in profit, okay, then I can start to reduce my risk. However, if it can break down to about those bodies, there's about a 50 pip move. I know about to the bottom, there's about 70 pip move, but I gotta just continue to follow because it's not easy to break a green zone. So we've got to follow this volume. Now we're 1 minute to go into the close. So it's had 2 retests of this location. Buyers failed to get above there. So sellers are still holding it down. This was the first closing bearish bar below this area. All other attempts failed. I put a pretty tight stop loss just above the previous bar. Now just got to watch where this thing can close. Will it create it like a bear flag down in here for that one more push down? But it's still being respected in this green zone. So this could easily rotate right back up bullish. We're below, the volume is below the 9 EMA currently. So it's short-term bearish, but sellers are not convincingly closing below this location. Okay, there's the close. It's a spin top. So it's a 50-50 coin flip. And we're still above the green zone. So I got to give the benefit of the doubt that the buyers are still here and could continue to push it right back up through here. Okay, but we do have a resistance right here. We still have not reattempted the actual location to actually look for the retest. Okay, so if sellers can continue to offer, we got some low wicks that could easily be broken with the volume we currently are trading with today. And maybe we can create some new lows and see if the sellers can continue to penetrate through this zone right here. And if we can close with black volume below this red line, it could further take us down. Okay, why? Because this used to be the resistance right there, resistance right there, resistance right there. This bar here at 715 that closed above is making this red line the current support right now. We can see when we drove right into it, it reversed back up. So this red line, 4,665, is the current key point of interest for either buyers or sellers. So if it stays the volume above here and continues to respect this red line, we could see buyers bring it right back up. However, if the sellers can close it below here, it could turn into short-term resistance, and we could push a little further down. Okay. So the sellers have to continue doing their job. They broke that wick. Can they continue with momentum with this redistribution of this sell side volume, take out that wick, and then we're coming down to the bottom of the green box. That's where normally we see a wick will be created if it gets down there. However, if this bearish volume can close below there, I in turn can flip that green box red, and it could be a further of offerings to continue to push the market down. But I can only justify that when a body closes, right? So there's where we came down to the bottom. I already measured that to 25 pips down there, okay? But next location could be where this bullish bar started, like right over here. That's where I have it measured to 50 pips down there. Okay, so we're breaking that bullish zone currently, but there's still 2.5 minutes to go on the candle, okay? See that return wick? That's what I mean. Shit like this can happen when you're still in the trade. That's why I measured it to 25 to 30 pips down there. I did not reduce my risk during that move down. So this could come back now and bite me now, okay? Because I did not go down to a break even. I did not reduce my risk as of yet, okay? All I saw was the candle initially impulse break all the way down there, but got a solid return coming right back up. Okay, so now I got to follow the close of the volume. And you see that red line that I was talking about? That is the most important location on this move right now. And we're transacting right at it. So this is going to be the big fight between the sellers and the buyers right now. And we've got less than 2 minutes to go into the close. So sell side, we do have lower low, lower high, new lower low. We've got to follow the volume now. It's not easy to counter trade and break a green block. So we got to rely on higher time frame, sell side volume coming down on this 15-minute candle, maybe on this hourly bearish bar that's going to close in the next 6 minutes, okay? Because we're going into 9 a.m. I break it down 5 minutes at a time, but I'd like to see that 5-minute volume maybe comes back down here, closes below that green zone, and one more push down. Then I can convert this green to red if the black volume closes below. And this could be a new zone of offers. All of these sellers from up here could start to offer down into this red zone. And that could create another lower high for one more push down. It's going to be interesting, guys. Here's the close in 40 seconds. It looks like it's developing a little bit of an M pattern, one top. Then that previous neckline was here. There's kind of that second top. So we're dropping down here. There's that M break, but this green zone is that big. So I'd like to see it close below there, come back up in here, make it red, then drops down to there. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Here's the close. 10 seconds to go. If it still closes inside the green zone, I'm not going to convert it red because it's still a green zone. Then the next bar could come up bullish. So it closed in the green zone, you see, came up, bullish ignited, right away it retested that red line right there. So there was the volume that closed below the red line. Now it's acting as momentary resistance. So will it have enough right now, going 5 minutes, going into the new hourly candle, to continue to sell below here, break that wick, and start to drop down further? Will this bar be the one that closes below closing our hourly candle? Maybe we could get that momentum coming down, but how many times have we seen hourly switch ups on us where we're in a sell, hourly candle opens up, and then it starts moving up bullish? So this is what we really have to monitor now, okay? So it's coming down. Can it break? There's the break. It did its job, this candle. That's good for 35 pips down into there. Do I want to reduce my risk now? Up 35, possibly maybe one more push could be 40 pips. Is it now time to go to a break even, going right into an hourly candle? I think it should be time to reduce a little bit of risk. I'm going to reduce it to the red line right there, okay? So I'm still have a stop loss in the market, but I'm not as high as I was up there. So I just reduced it a good 20 pips, okay? I could go to a break even. Worst case scenario is the trade comes back up to my break even, okay? Maybe I will do that going into, because we're going into a 1 hour, okay? So I have no risk in this trade. I'm up approximately 30 pips. I haven't taken anything out yet because what if I get a further continuation push down, okay? So that's what I'm looking for. If we can continue to come down here and maybe hit 50 pips, then maybe I'll reduce. But now I have all emotions taken out of the trade. I cannot lose anything. Worst case scenario is a break even and I lose some my profit. no problem, as long as I'm not losing my capital. But now I can still see we've got a lower low, lower high. Now, if this volume can come down going into the 1 hour, I could flip this green box red and maybe one more push down. Or if it comes up during the hour, it gets rejected and pushed down, okay? So that's what I'm gambling on. That's what I'm looking to get while I'm still in a break even. And maybe my fault was I didn't clear out any profit yet. But maybe the reward, if I continue to be patient, maybe it could be a larger reward. Worst case scenario, risk to reward is a break even. I'm okay with that. Okay, now we got 2.5 minutes to go, going into a new hourly candle. So also looking like at 30 minutes, this could be our first 30-minute bar closing below here. And maybe we continue for one more push down. Oh man, like there's our hourly bar there. I'm up here. That's where it will be at a break even, but we still have resistance. Okay, so this current red line, remember, was resistance, resistance. That bullish bar that closed above made it support, but now we got the volume closing below. See how it turns to resistance, and we are still currently pushing down. So let's see really, like, can they bleed it out? Maybe we can pick up 50 pips and then close out a certain amount. Maybe Ron is being greedy here. Maybe I waited all day inside here and I'm looking for a bigger reward. Who knows? We got 1 more minute and 40 seconds to go. But remember the drill. If this closes below the green box, we're going to flip the green box red. We're not changing the size of it. We're just changing the color of it. We are currently below the 9 EMA. So it is still short-term bearish. We are creating lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Our retest points are still accurate. They're still holding. So we got to continue to go with the flow, go with the volume. Let's see if we can get rewarded with zero risk. Those are the best trades. 60 seconds to go. And I'm going to warn you guys, those hourly switch ups are nasty. Okay, as a scalper, we go through these every single hour on the minute. Okay, it happens. Sometimes you get rewarded for holding into a new hour. Sometimes you get washed out. But let's see. I'm following it now. I've made up my mind. I'm going to follow it with a break even. So I'm following the volume with no emotions attached, nothing. Okay, so will it close below this green zone? There's the fight now with 15 seconds to go. So remember, the momentum coming up right now is buyers. So it could go right into the hour and start with buying. And then I get tapped out. Or it could close strong and then the momentum is still sellers coming down. Here's the close. Inside the green zone, bullish ignited open. Let's see if it can get rejected quickly. We want to reject this big bullish candle right away, right now. We don't want it to continue to build because if it builds up a little more, it breaks this resistance. And then, unfortunately, I get taken out at break even. So we rejected it quickly. Now, does it have enough bearish volume starting at this hour at 9 a.m. to continue to fill down these wicks and break for a new low and get down to this location for 50 pips? Okay, notice how I did not make the green zone red because we closed inside of it. I got to wait for another black bar to physically close below in order to change it. But this is still holding up this resistance. As we came down, now it's finding the buyers. So it's coming right back up to retest that red line again. If it cannot continue to hold these offers, it's going to break. And I'm not too far away from getting stopped out at break even right there. So will the sellers step in here or 50% of that body, just a little higher? I will verbally let you guys know as soon as I get tapped out. I'm still in. There is a rejection there. It is a spin top candle right now. Still holding that bullish opening position. And now you see how we're transacting in the bottom of the green zone at the new hour. So it could definitely build up, but there's still a lot of offers in the market here. Holy, remember last night, like 1 minute candles were at 50, 100 pips. And here we're sweating it out to make like 30, 40 pips. So, when there's good timing in the markets, that's when you want to be kind of trading. That opening Sunday night was unbelievable volume to be trading. This is tough volume. Holiday, you're absolutely correct, Sherry. Okay, so we flipped now that opening position, that blue position, back to a bear spin top. So if sellers can just continue to bid down in here, we could maybe drop a little further. Maybe we could get our first black bar closing below this green zone. Then technically we can flip it red, and maybe we get rewarded for continuing to hold this. And we break down to about 50 pips down in there, maybe 70, 75 down in there. Okay, so we flipped our candle after multi-retest, lower high, lower high. Now we just got to continue to do our job and fill these wicks, continue to create lower lows in the market, and physically close below this green zone. So can we get the sellers now bidding down into here? The offers are here. Can now they start bidding down into here? I need the buyers to start pulling their pending orders here and locating their pending buys back down into here. Okay, maybe they're going to cancel their pending buy orders because they see the market coming down. They want a better fill here or here. And that's lovely for me in a sell because I can maybe clear right through here. Okay, so that's a good candle, but I don't want to see those equal bottom lows. I want to see there's a new lower low. That's good. Okay, so we're pushing down now. Now that's about approximately 40 pips in profit. Everyone, please manage your own accounts, please. When you feel comfortable taking some risk out, do that. When you feel comfortable taking some profit out, do what you need to do here, please. I've managed my risk where I'm at break even, up 40 pips, but I know sometimes I get stubborn where I need it to come down to there just to make it whole 50, like a whole 50 points, psychological 50. Sometimes my emotions take over for these whole numbers. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but I got to work on that myself. 60 seconds to go. If this is a nice big bearish bar, maybe we cut this bar in half, and maybe if it comes back up, we retest the halfway point and maybe push down, depending how the body closes. And if this is our first black bar to technically close below here, I'm going to flip this green zone red. Because if we trade back in here, it could still be resistance offers and continue to push down. And we're going to get the close now in 20 seconds. So watch, guys. It's going to get intense now. Okay? There's going to be a lot of momentum now going into the close of this candle. 10 more seconds. And also look at the size of the wick. If we close near the low, we might get like a quick retest and a further drop. If there's a big wick, there's a bigger wick to fill. Okay, so here's the close. I'm going to assume we're closing below. See how I'm just flipping it red? Okay, so we close right there. Now if I was to cut this candle in half, okay, this candle, that's the closing candle below the zone. I just cut it in half. If this candle comes up blue, 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 transact right into 50%. Maybe it gets rejected one more time with another lower high, and we continue pushing down to this location right here where I have mapped out. Perfect. So we got a shallow pullback. We didn't even need to come into 50%. They already rejected it down, and now we could walk all the way right down in there, collect 50 points, 50 pips, clear some money out, or we wait for the intended move to come all the way down there, and that would be 70, 75. Okay? But please do something. You know that meme where I'm poking you and I'm saying do something? Okay, so you see, it did not tap into that red line exactly. And for 2 or 3 points, it returns. It happens. That's why sometimes, if you're trading exactly right down to a line, sometimes it doesn't exactly come down to the line. Now we're trading at 50% of that candle. Will they reject it? Will it close below? Will it come higher? And you see how the 9 EMA is slowly coming down. It's coming down into, the red zone. Okay, so there's the actual rejection again there. Did anybody do anything down there? And what I mean by did you do anything, you can reduce your stop loss. You could reduce it. You could go to a break even. You could clear some partials out of the market as profit. Or you could continue holding the entire trade with a break even, or you could have a stop loss. Okay. Some traders don't go to a break even. That's fine. You know, everyone trades different. How are we doing, everyone? Everyone on Zoom? Break even, Z? Sherry, you took some profit out. Good. How's everyone doing on YouTube? Give us a like. Subscribe to the channel, guys. You can learn how to trade live by mastering some emotions in trading, mastering technicals with us at SST, with myself, Dave, and everyone in the Discord community. Let's check out what you guys are doing. Okay. I like that. Okay, so you're using volume profile down there. Well, we got 2 more minutes to go into the close. Okay, so it technically almost dropped 50 pips from entry. I told you guys I was being stubborn. I was waiting for that red line. I didn't do anything. So, yep, shout out to the Discord community, Josh. Welcome. Yeah, I got the Discord community here for all of you guys. If you guys want to talk to me, you guys are more than welcome. Let's see. Come on. We got a nice bear shooting. Let's see if we can make this into a bear shooting star. Boom. Let's see if we can break down now. Going into the close, 90 seconds. If we close with black volume below this red line, we could make this resistance for that further push down. Now we've tapped into there. Now, going through my head is, I know that I want to take out here, but I might get a further push 60 seconds on this candle. I've waited through it through the retest. You see how it retested the bottom of our red zone and now it's pushing down? This is where sometimes you get stubborn and you're like, I got to hold this thing because I want a bigger reward. Or you just trade like a robot right down to that red line. You make a decision and you live with it. That's what trading does to us on a daily basis. That's why I tell everyone it's better to trade very robotic. And just fall like there again. I had an opportunity where it broke the red line to take out above 50 pips and I didn't again. So you see how these emotions, every single candle can continue to haunt you or make you move away from your disciplined trading plan. It happens on a daily basis, whether you're a scalper, a swing trader, anything, guys. That's why it's best to trade with a plan or make up your mind what you got to do, okay? I've made up my mind where I was in drawdown up there. When I went to break even, I maybe want to let this thing play out now. I've tapped into there. Now let's see if it closes below. Maybe I might be making a big mistake here, but I'm still following this volume. Still following it right now. And I could cut this candle in half as well. Okay, there's the close below. I'm cutting it in half. I had a bearish ignited open that just dropped. So now I'm looking for any retest of this red line or halfway, maybe one further push down, and maybe the sellers want to target this supporting area. Look, this area right here. If I draw like a green box from back here, look at all those wicks right there that held support right there. This was last night. This was right prior to midnight. And if I stretch it into the future, that's again where it held right there, held right there. This was earlier prior to 7 a.m. So if it can come in there, that's a big zone to transact into. That's where the big buyers are. Sellers could be looking now to close positions right into there. Okay, so we could hold for that entire trade or just be happy with some pips right now. I'm going to close out 80% right now. Okay, so I'm above 50 pips in profit. I'm closing 80% and I'm going to leave 20% to further run. But I don't want to give away 50 pips. I'm halfway towards my daily goal, right? So I'm going to take some money out regardless because I have to understand that there is buyers here. You know, if I cut that blue candle in half right there, that's what we just tapped right into. So this could start a reversal move coming back up. But we could, you know, look to continue to sell off of this red block above us. Okay, so I've cleared 80% down there, and I have 20% running with a break even. To me, that's a W. To me, that's a win. I've controlled my risk. I went to a break even. I had multiple attempts to transact down there, but I got a good position coming down there where, I closed above 50 pips. That's not bad. But I still have to realize that I'm still counter trading, right? It's a nice little sell setup, but I have to realize that, the market came down here, one bottom. There, all of this garbage we just traded through is the neckline. And now we're coming, back down there. What if this area is like a double bottom and then it wants to come all the way back up, right? Then again, we're transacting in this red zone. If it closes above green zone, we could come all the way back up there and go higher, okay? But if the sellers continue pushing down and we close below here, there's that 200 EMA and there's my hourly support. Gold could get all the way back down to 4,653, 4,650. But this is where maybe it could consolidate and flag down in here. And while we're in profit, we held through the entire session watching this and we got rewarded. We better take some money out, okay? Did I explain that properly, guys, to you guys? So, like my intentions, we were very patient going through all this, but, that first candle that closed below, cut it in half, retest, push down. That's when I took the sell. When it started to move down here, closed below, that's when I took my stop loss. Remember, I even told you guys I had a tight stop loss. I didn't even place my stop loss all the way above here. I just put it above this candle because I was still respecting the buyers in this green zone if they returned it back up. However, the sellers were technically there and continued to offer. And we saw with each successive high was a lower high and they continued to make new lows, okay? And then I just took out down there when it broke, took out 80% and I got 20% running. So now I can follow my runner in the trade. Dennis, you're out. Good for you. Big Ben, good trade. Awesome, guys. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about anything? Any questions I can answer in live? Are you guys unsure about anything? As always, guys, if you can, give us a like on the channel if you learned something new. Subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss out, guys. We're offering live analysis, live trading with you guys. We're full transparent. We show you where we sell, where we buy, where we place stop losses, where we hit break evens. We win, we lose, we win. More than often, we break bread together and we all learn a new financial skill that's affecting the world right now, okay? So learn, guys, learn, okay? There's so much going on around the world and this is affecting, like when you learn this, you could literally figure out the direction of how the world is moving and whatever they're trading. Today's blog was a very good one, guys, on the Petrodollar right over here. Go to our website and read this. You'll learn a lot. Like you guys probably remember what happened in early 2000 in Iraq. Maybe some of you guys remember 2011 in Libya. Maybe what you guys remember all the sanctions against Russia and China, and if you know what China is doing currently, it might open your eyes to the world of trading. One company that I'm watching here in Canada, it's on my watch list, is CCO.TO, Cameco Corporation. It's trading at $162 right now. It's up 8% in the last 5 days. It's up 35% last month. It's up 55% last 6 months. And over the year, it's up 127%. If you guys don't know what CCO is, it's a Canadian company. And the reason why I'm watching this is it's got a lot to do with our Prime Minister. So that's why I'm watching this. It's uranium sector. So it's got to do with nuclear energy. So Cameco Corporation provides uranium for the generation of electricity. It operates through 3 segments: uranium, fuel services, and Westinghouse. It's based out of here in Canada, in Saskatoon. And I will be watching this on the option chains. Why? Because I believe like nuclear energy will be the future for clean energy. And Canada, this is a Canadian company,
And Prime Minister has some ties to this. So I follow the money. Right? Has anyone heard of Brookfield? Brookfield Corporation? Our Prime Minister here in Canada used to be a shareholder and on the board. When he became Prime Minister, he stepped down, but I'm sure he can negotiate something to do with that corporation. So, you know, Donald Trump does it. This is how the markets move, unfortunately. And I follow these companies. Wow, Sherry, amazing. You're up 4% in 1 month on your portfolio. Congrats. That's good. That's compound mathematics. 4% can turn into 6%. 6 can turn into 10%. Continue doing what you're doing month over month. Your account can go to 20%. Hopefully in the year, you know, you've accumulated over 100% on your account. You are doing better than financial advisors that work at institutions. Congrats. Okay. Guys, so you can see now what's developing. Sorry, we came down there. Okay. So you see this big body candle right in here, right below that demand zone. See how I cut it in half? That's where it's building the higher low support. Came up, big bullish candle, pulled back right into that red line, holding and coming right back up. So now I can start to see the way how the volume is now trading down in here. So we came down, now it's coming back up. Will it come back down? Will it be like a double bottom down in here? Will it pick up like a higher low, continue coming up? And then this is the block that we have to break now. So the sellers are currently here, but the buyers are buying into it. So will they eventually maybe close above here and then make it green? And then all of a sudden gold is reversed back up. Okay, so you see my 20% runner. Reason being why I took out 80% when it came down there was for this particular reason. If I didn't and I got greedy, now my entire trade would be coming up to hit my break even, right? So I only have 20% at the break even. That's why I take out partials. That's the exact reason why I take out partials. And I take 80% out. I don't take out 50%. I don't take out 25. I take out 80. Why? Because I'm a scalper. I like to take the bulk of my trade at a specific area and then leave the remaining running. If I was a swing trader, I would be doing the same thing. If I was swing trading gold and I was holding it for, let's say, 3 days, and I'm up, instead of 50 pips, I'm up 500 pips, I'm closing 80% of that trade and leaving 20% running. It's just a rule I have in trading. I trade with rules, 80-20 rule. Some of you guys maybe have a different rule, but follow it. It's all about discipline, following it. So now I'll verbally let you guys know as soon as my 20% runner gets stopped out up here at the break even. And now mentally, emotionally, my psychology is I did the good thing of taking out money down there. Because if I didn't, now this could come back and get me. And then what could happen? I could be up right there. That's it. There's my 20% break even taken out now. Okay. So I'm happy now that it wasn't my entire trade. Because now if that happens, I would probably be trading upset. I probably would be mad right now. I'll probably be like looking to take a quick trade right now and the market could fake me out and I could now get into trouble trading, right? So we never want to put ourselves in situations like this. So that's why it's good to take profit, okay? You got to learn. You know, markets are very difficult to trade. And when you take a nice profitable trade, reward yourself. Reward yourself because it builds your confidence, you build your experience, you build your account, and now you have a trade that you can review. You have a trade that you can put in your journal. Is there anything that you could have done better? Is there anything that you could work on and finesse the trade and fix it so that when you look for another trade, you know exactly what you're looking for, guys, okay? So hopefully that helps. But unfortunately now this trade is closed. This trade is done, right? So now we gotta, continue to see what's going on. So if I'm sticking with gold now, we're still transacting in this zone. If the buyers now close above, I could flip it green. This is maybe where the neckline is now. Okay, so we see the sellers did not have enough momentum to break these lows. See where the buyers held it up? They held the support at 50% of that big bullish candle that started this move right there at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's like clockwork. Look at that was where the market was pushing down. Remember, I told you guys hourly switch ups. There it is, 7 a.m. And then it came all the way up there. This is what we were watching. All of this. We took the sell side. We got rewarded, but we see that the sellers did not continue breaking it down to justify the push down. We still have a big bullish daily candle still holding up. And that's where it held support right there at the 50% cut line. You know, I didn't do a point of control. If I did, a little bit above, a little bit below, that wick was a little bit below, came in. There's your bullish engulfing candle. Engulf that. Here's, if you looked at 50% of this bullish candle, there's where it came back down, picked up, came up, short wick. There was the pop and drive. There was the impulse break right now, and it's now transacting inside here. So it looks like we've identified the neckline now. Looks like we can see where the neckline is. So if I'm going to continue to trade today, it came down, support, coming back up, neckline. Maybe it will come back down. But this red line could act as, again, support, make a higher low. This one could be the double bottom. This one could be where the big buyers are in the green zone, or you have a liquidity grab. If it breaks down there and comes up, then boom, you could have that type of explosion. However, if this buyers close above this red zone right now, then, you know, I could change the red zone to green. And then maybe it's going to flag inside here to continue to come back up and trade where it was trading prior in all of this consolidated area when we started today's call. And then if the buyers, you know, they see they broke up there, they broke up there, they broke up there, but they did not close with blue volume. So if you do technically get a blue bar closing above there, you could do the same thing we did, how we were selling, but now you're on buy side. Then you get your closing bar, you look for maybe a nice 50% of a big bar coming in, maybe trading in here or retesting this, and then all of a sudden we're trading right back up to where? This red zone. Where did I get that red zone from? It was where it was previously trading on Sunday, where it got rejected there. And I know that because that's our all-time high up there. So it got rejected. So maybe we will revisit this later today. Maybe it doesn't. What if the sellers are offering in this location and continue pushing it down? But at least now I have some key levels that I can be trading off of for the remaining part of the day, guys. Okay. Guys, I'm going to go till 9:30 today, 5 more minutes. We don't have Wall Street market open. It's Martin Luther King Day in the markets. The U.S. banks are closed. We took one trade. We got a winning trade. So tomorrow, the markets will be picking up. Dave will be doing New York with you guys in the Zoom. I'll be coming in post New York around 11 a.m. Eastern. And we'll be trading tomorrow all week, our New York sessions, guys. We've got a lot going on in the news. Go over your news, please. Figure out which days are your high impact news. Don't forget Wednesday, Donald Trump at 8:30 a.m. is speaking at the World Economic Forum. I believe day 3. It is a high impact event. Anytime Trump opens his mouth, he can move the markets. We'll see what he talks about down there. I hope you guys had fun starting our week off. Guys, on our YouTube channel, there's the last 3 sessions were all education sessions we did in Tokyo. We talked a lot about price action, support areas, point of controls, points of interest. I promise you, you will learn a lot if you watch those last 3 sessions we did in Tokyo. And you can learn exactly what we're doing here. But if you want to be part of the team, guys, we would love to have you guys on the team. You can trade with all of the snipers in Discord, with myself, Dave, and all of the admins, moderators here. And just continue, guys, trading with proper risk management. We're Canadian. Can you tell by my accent, eh? I'm Canadian, eh? Yeah. We're your friendly neighbors, America. We're your friendly neighbors above you guys. We don't want none of the heat from you guys. Keep Donald Trump in control. We don't want that heat. We're your friendly peacekeepers here in Canada, okay? We help Americans with trading. We have free trade. Look, is there any Americans on YouTube? We are literally exercising free trade. At Stock Sniper Trading, we're offering you free trade advice. Free trading. This is how the world should work. Free trade. Right? But Donald Trump doesn't want that. He wants to put tariffs. So if Donald Trump upsets me, I can put tariffs on all of our American traders. 10%, June 1st goes to 25, maybe 50%. So you guys are going to have to start paying tariffs, unfortunately. No, I would never do that. We're not like that. We believe in free trade, okay? That's the way it should be. The whole world should work like this. Every country should be able to trade freely with whatever products they make. Some countries create coffee beans. Some countries create wheat, soft lumber, oil. All export imports should be, in my opinion, I know I'm living in a fairy tale world where it doesn't work like this, but if I was to trade something to you, you trade, and it's a free trade. That's how technically the world should work, but it doesn't work like that. Maybe that's me living in my fairy tale world, but exactly, Sherry, power and greed take over, and that's why we have an establishment of elites, and the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class becomes the poor class. And this is not just in third world countries. This is happening right now in developed nations, in America, in Canada, in England, all over the world. You can see that the middle class is now working 2 jobs, 3 jobs just to make ends meet with inflation, with the cost of living. Your wages at your work are not increasing. So life is getting hard for everybody. Life is getting extremely difficult for everyone around the world. So hopefully the world gets better, but we can make a good, honest living by making a supplemental income trading on the side. Whether you're using your own money or you're using a prop firm, you could literally make a supplemental income. And I highly recommend that you guys learn how to trade, learn the language of price action, learn some patience and some discipline, learn how to control your emotions, and have daily goals. Have daily goals. That eliminates the greed. Like if you hit your daily goal, stop trading. That's it. Go do something else. And that's where you can start to really learn how to be disciplined. Okay, guys, I had a great call today. Normally we go till 10 a.m., but we don't have a Wall Street. And we're not looking at NASDAQ and US 30 right now. So if you're just going to continue watching gold, again, it's breaking out above this location. Now you see the buyers have taken over, but I don't have a closing price of volume, blue bar, to close above here, because if I do, then this zone, if it closes above, I will just convert the zone back to green. Notice how I don't change the size of the zone. I don't make it bigger. I don't make it smaller. All I do is just change the color of the zone according to the volume. Whether the volume closes blue above here, I make it green. If the sellers come back down here and close it black, then I make it red again. Right now, it's still in that red zone because neither the buyers or sellers have there. There was the official close above, so it goes red to green. But you got to notice how the bar opened, ignited, and just continued to pop up. So if we do get a pullback, maybe a good pullback buy could be at this red line. It could be at the bottom of the green box, or it could be like a little lower down in here. But see how now that red line is still utilizing this red line. That's what I mean, guys. Learn static lines, learn static zones. This was resistance. Resistance. As soon as this blue bar closed above at 715, you see how it made it support. Right there when we got into the sell, that black bar closed below, and you see how the red line was resistance, resistance, where it rejected the move. Now we close back above that red line, and you see how the buyers closed above, and now the red line is acting as support, and you could continue to buy off of that, okay? So this is how I trade. I trade with these levels. I add alerts at these locations, and then if I'm going to go now walk away from the markets, I'm going to go make breakfast, have a coffee. I set an alert here. Maybe I set an alert up there. If the volume eventually gets up there, it doesn't mean I just trade blindly and just jump in. Again, I watch what's happening. I look for a blue bar to close above. I look for rejections. This helps me stay disciplined, and it helps me from staring at the computer all day. You know, you can trade these days with technology on your mobile. You can trade with a laptop. You don't have to be at your trade station how I am right now. So it's helpful for people with a busy life. If you got kids, if you got to manage, if you got to go to work and you come back, you can utilize alerts in trading, all of these things. But guys, I had some fun. You know, it's the start of the week and we're going to take a little bit of a break. Enjoy your Monday. Have a great start of the week. And tomorrow we're back in and we're busy tomorrow. Dave, 8 a.m. And then I'll be coming in post New York. Okay, guys? Have a great day. I hope you guys had a great weekend. God bless everyone. Just please, 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 if you can, just continue learning discipline in the markets, continue learning proper risk management and controlling your emotions. Okay, guys? And don't trade too excessive sizing, because that's when you're going to get emotionally attached to your trades. You might panic. You might do some silly things. And, you know, all of us as traders, we go through that cycle. Everyone has to go through that cycle in order to learn. But just please don't blow up accounts, because when you blow up accounts or lose a lot of money, it's very, very hard to recover and come back. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Please, if you guys can, leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate everyone. Thank you, guys. Have a good day, everyone. Canada has tariffs too, eh? Yeah, we got tariffs too. Have a good day, guys.
Recording stopped.
Sherry, have a great day. Bruce, thank you. SSDN, Stephanie, Rob, Kool-Aid. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy your afternoon. Guys. Americans, enjoy your Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Have a great day.
Hey guys, good morning, welcome to the live session of Stocks Network Trading. My name is Dave, guys, my partner is Ron. Let's get down to business here, guys.
In on US 30, sell, okay? I'm jumping in. Guys, that's a 100 pip drop. Yes, we caught it. Hey, guys, 200 pips, please, secure.